This is Justin Scoop on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. We are looking at SPX, and on the daily here, we got a pretty massive gap up from yesterday's close. It was about $1 off of the low to the close, but we trapped a lot of bears yesterday just by this gap up. We actually, at one point, cleared the high from yesterday. This was looking like a massive bull candle, but for the most part, it actually stayed between these purple lines, which is kind of hasn't been like it did that 2 days ago, but then it collapsed yesterday, and here we are back in between the purple lines again. So let's jump into the 3 minute because there is a lot of really interesting things that happened here. The main one being I talked about this consolidation here towards the open um, early in the day, the last 2 days. It's like if we do that again, go bearish because, yep, sure enough, same thing. Third day in a row, we got that consolidation. Oh, missed that one. Got that consolidation early on and then just collapsed, just dropped. And so this was a great opportunity. Let's just focus in on this. This was a great opportunity to be just buying puts up here. And so if you were looking at the 67.50, it was losing some value here. Let me zoom out here. Restore that. Let's zoom in on just today. Let's see what was going on. So all through here, the put was just losing some value. The call was holding some value pretty well through here. Actually, this was in the money by about 10 points, 15 points, somewhere in there. So this was holding the value nicely, just a nice distribution up here. And then looked like it was actually starting to break out, which actually turned out to be more of a trap. And then we came back down and rolled back down. When it did this option, which I had my eyes on the 6,700, I mentioned that yesterday, when that was showing really inexpensive, then I was like, all right, well, how about the 6,750? Sure enough, you got some opportunities to buy this right at $1 for a while, for like a good chunk of time here. Could have bought this for $1 per contract, just get one. And that would have been one of my favorite trades. Buy at $1 and flip up at $11. I think, yep, that went up to 12. So that would have worked right back up past the previous high. As this collapsed here, we took out the low from earlier in the day. It was phenomenal. I was looking for that to retest some and then roll back down. It did not do that. We didn't get the big bear day that I was talking potentially having, similar to this day back on 10:10, and then like this day back on 11:20. And I'm just realizing 10:10, 11:20. I wonder if 12:30 is that the day the market's open? 12:30. Interesting. Wonder if we'll get something like that coming up. That's just pad numbers. I just like numbers. 10:10. So that's, then skip a month and 10 more days is 11:20, and then skip a month and 10 more days is 12:30. We'll see. We'll see if we ever get a candle like that. We could get one tomorrow. Who knows? And I was saying like we could have this potential. So when I'm zoomed in here on the 3 minute, it's a little hard to see this. So let me actually bring this up, and we're going to go back out a little bit to the last 3 days and kind of see some more things happening here. So for one, there's this bigger shape that could totally be some sort of inverted head and shoulders. It's rough, but it's there. All right. Another thing I'm seeing is some consolidation like this after today. We definitely were making lower highs, and then at this point, we were making higher lows. So that's a potential too. We could just be consolidating. And then what if we keep doing this into Friday? That's entirely possible. Let me get all this off the screen and see if I can move this over a little more. Hey, there we go. All right. So if we draw this out to the right, we've got some consolidation. That. Okay. So that would be what, from here to here would be roughly 3 hours. Okay. So maybe 3 hours into Friday, that should reach some sort of apex if there's no gap. If there's a gap and we are up here, okay, can we hold this and retest that level and bounce? Or if we gap down, and can we retest and then collapse? Or are we just going to be chopping around in here and continue to hold this high and this low and compress? And then what's going to happen? Are we just going to come piddly out the end, or are we going to start to rally? Like what's going to happen? I have no idea. So a lot of potential here. Just going to see if any of these things lined up. That's not clean. Nope. That one's not really lining up. That's not, it's close. Not great. It's not really that one. This one, I think, is way too steep. There's nothing going on over here that's going to work with these. Yeah, that's too steep. So ignore that one. All right. So we've got some levels. We've got some area to watch. Anything within the purple lines looks like it's, well, especially tighter in here, could just rest for a while. If you go back to the left, we've not spent much time between the purple lines. We keep moving through it. A little bit of rest this day, came down through it here, stayed below for a while, back over here, got into it, and then we were right back out and really staying at the upper end. We were really more so on the purple line here. And these are just some levels. Like they just seem to have been working as, some good key levels. So anyway, we're within these now, which means we're doing some sort of resting in here. We could totally continue lower. The one concern I have with continuing lower is one, two, not quite a bear day, but by, what was that, 14 cents, it was a bullish day, and then another bear day and another bear day. So the last 5 days here have been somewhat bearish. Um, Even this day, 2 days ago, what was this, Tuesday and Thursday, there's a lot of indecision. Today's candle was, let's see, from the open to the close. Oh, good, we have whole dollars. Open and close was a little under $4. What was that, $3.30? $3.30. Not much of a body on that one either. So I just think it's really interesting. We've got a bigger bear day that drops down here. We got high wave candle before and after. We have anything else looking like that? I don't know if we have anything that's significant. It looks unique. It just looks unique of how that's moving. We've got some really clear indecision before and after a bigger bear day. I think that's some of my concerns. It's like it's a big bear day in between there. What if we have some more bearishness come in? I'm not just skimming through. I'm not seeing anything that looks just like that. Here's one that's similar. You had some indecision here, a gap down into a bear day that traded down some and then gapped back up into a bull or another bear day. So it's kind of like the indecisive candles are bookending this one. Honestly, what it looks like to me, I'll just draw it. It looks like that's an eye, and this is like a droopy nose, and then this is like another eye over here. This is just really wonky. Like the eye is way up here on that one, right? So take that one out. That kind of looks like that one here. But today's looks kind of like straight face, right? It looks more even. This is just what I'm seeing. So hopefully this is entertaining to see this. But oh, that's too close. That's too far. Yeah, I'm seeing. Does that look like a face? I'm someone who sees faces in like headlights of cars too, but I'm seeing like a bigger eye like that and another kind of a little bit of a droopier eye over here like that. And you got a big old nose in the middle. It looks like a face. Looks like two eyes and a nose. That's what these three candles look like. There you go. I even put a circle on it. It looks like a face. That's what I'm seeing with the last 3 days. Should we even go look at the charts anymore? I guess we can. So with all this choppiness, with all this up and down and back and forth, there were some great opportunities to just get in, get out, go either direction here. Um, finding this good base and then finding a level it's going to hold. So the purple line was a great place to just take profits. Um, we did retest back up here. Um, we had an opportunity to buy at $1 again. It came all the way down to like zero point 0.4, I think. Yeah. And then recovered. And this actually rallied up to 450, 460, and then came all the way back down to nothing by the end of the day here. But there were some great opportunities to buy for $1 or less. So if you were to buy for $1 here, get out for 11 here. Buy for $1 here. Oh, got to hold through some hurt on this one. It came down, back up. It's like, do you get out for break even? And then it held a nice base through here when it was running up to 250 through this, and then it got up to 450 or 460. Do you just take that? Do you think it's going to keep running up to 11 again? This was a little bit more range bound at this point where, okay, we're going sideways, putting a bit of a base here. Let's see if we can collapse. Nope, immediately bounce off the purple line. And from there, it was done. Get out. If you were still in for $1, get out. It's not working anymore. And that's so late in the day. There's so little that can happen in an hour here. Well, a lot can still happen in an hour. But when it's holding these levels, where at this point it's making some lower highs and higher lows in a bigger pattern, it's not doing its move like this, where it's retesting and S curving and doing something like that, where it's stepping down. That's the kind of day. This is the day I really want. Something like this, where it just keeps traveling down, and you can just keep buying high or selling high and buying low, and it keeps working. Same thing with the calls. So we put in a really nice base here by the purple lines, or by the purple line here. So this would have been buying around 2, and then flipping that out closer to 10. Like that actually would have worked nicely. And then came down here. How low did this get? Oof, that's not what I want to show. Okay, got down to like 0.5. I can't even get it back on the screen. And then ran up to like 2 or close to that. That's another good one. So just a lot of really strong ebbs and flows, a lot of follow through on these movements where it put in a base. I think that's the best part about today. It put in a really nice base here and then collapsed, left that behind, and then bounced right off that line and then rallied and basically retested into where this broke down. And then it rolled down again and came back into that level at the purple line and then bounced again and retest. Well, I don't know where it actually retested. There's not really a neckline there that I'm seeing, but some really good moves. So we'll see if any of that can continue. I think a little more consolidation right at the open, and see if that plays into a bigger move later in the day. All right. Hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.